All right, good evening. Almost had some technical difficulties. The hotel Wi-Fi was blocking me or not strong enough. Good evening. Happy Monday. Hi, Key. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy to see you in the chat. Happy Monday to you. Hope you are well. Hello, Elle. Good to see you in the chat. Happy Monday. I see some thumbs up. I'm glad you all could join us on this Monday. Hope you all are well. Hi, Judith. Happy Monday to you. The hotel Wi-Fi wasn't supporting the live for some reason, so I'm gratefully have my hotspot that worked out. So, good Monday to everybody. And get plugged up before I lose it. All right. Hello, KC. I'm glad you made it. Yes, you did make it. All right, let me do my intro and we'll get started chatting, catching up on all the things. So, my name is Jewel. This is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. And as I introduce myself, I say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015 because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And once this is live on YouTube, you will be able to find links to schedule with me in the video description down below. And I serve up a lot of representation in the movement along the way as I'm doing this. I do want us to see ourselves in the movement and be successful in the movement. And I want to be able to help others be a part of this movement. If you find this information in the video helpful, I hope you will like it, you'll share it, you'll subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you should do that right now. And then also turn on the notifications so that you will know when content is available, when we're live over here doing all the things. So happy Monday, everybody. Hello, Kim. Thank you. Hello. Deborah, happy Monday. Miss Glenda, were you caught alive on this Monday? I'm glad you could catch up with us. I am doing well, and I hope you are. Hi, Stacy. Happy Monday to you. Hi, Gabrielle. V. Hello, V. I saw your note that you missed our meetup on Saturday. I'm sorry that you did. Hi, Kim. That's some Kims and Kimberlys in the chat today. Welcome. Hi, Key. Thank you, Key. Like it, comment, subscribe, do all the things. So I appreciate you all. It's another Kim. Hello. Um, Kim says her husband says she's obsessed with tiny homes. There are worse things that you could be obsessed with, so you make sure hubby knows that. Tell him it's okay. We will support you in your obsession with tiny houses. Welcome to the channel. Happy to have you here. So I missed you all last week. I intended to circle back to try to catch up, and then the week got away from me. And then yesterday I needed the time to work on the house, the daylight to work on the house. So that is why we are connecting on this Monday evening. I thank you all for joining and being here. The I am, as you can see, I am in a hotel and the still working on the infrastructure for the tiny house. So I've got the electricity. I think that happened last week, and am now working on the plumbing. So hoping that the plumbing will be up and ready tomorrow Wednesday. And if that's the case, then at least I can move back into the tiny house part while they're still working on the addition or the entourage, as I have been calling it. That work is gonna take a minute to get it completely attached and sealed and all of that stuff. So that's it, but I can deal with that while I'm in the house. I just need the utilities to be up and running. So hopefully that will happen this week and I'll be able to move back in. I am a bit tired running back and forth today. I also went back out to the previous site where I'd been located so that I could clean it up from stuff that had just materials that were left as we were moving. And I always try to make sure I leave things as I found them or better than I found them. So I have a company that I work with that will come in and do site cleanup. So we did some site cleanup today out there, and then I was at the new site. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. So I am a bit tired, but happy to be here. And as I keep thinking about being tired and bouncing around from hotels and Airbnbs while I get the infrastructure together, I just am remembering how grateful I am to be in this process of being able to move. So that that's the biggest piece, that I'm tired because something amazing has happened and I've been able to move my house, and so it's a good tired. Thank you, Linda. Hi, Effie Gaskin. So yes, that is the house update. I will um, put together some video and stuff. I want to share a lot of what happened with the move, so um, folks can understand what was done and the work that is now in place to put the house together. So once I get a chance to put all that together, I will be doing that. Thank you, Effie. Um, Judith is saying, use the wood to build your fur babies at home. So I did get a chance to see them today out at the old site, and I had already bought them a little. I forgot what it's called, but something to keep them warm through the winter, and they never used it. But I did leave it out there so that they could um, use it should they choose to. And then there's a barn out there that most of them that is where they were when I first moved out there. So they do have a place that they can be in somewhat out of the cold. It is not. It is a community center because as I was out there today, I could also smell that a skunk was either in there or had been in there. So it is a community center. So they aren't completely out in the cold, but I did get a chance to see them today and feed them and and hang out with them for a bit. So yes, thank you. Things are progressing and moving forward. Good evening, Geraldine. Um, Hi, Catherine. Good to have you in the chat. So welcome. Happy Monday to you. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about today was kind of just thinking back on um, the folks that I've run into along this journey. The title of this was challenging challenging the it can't be done, and this really um, good evening, JW. This really hit hard for me as I was watching the move happen. But I wanted to take it back to building the tiny house. Hi, Mara. Um, I can't think of the person's name who was irritated that I said hello to everybody. So I could say hello to them because they was like, "Why do you have to keep saying hello? Just get to the point." But we are a community, so I say hello to everybody. I wanted to say hello to them, but I can't remember their name. Hi, Day. Um, I'm sure if they watch this, they'll be annoyed yet again, and I'm okay with that. Um, but I was thinking back to the first part of it can't be done, and when I in 2014 when I was researching for my tiny house build. In 2014, everybody, hi Sharon, 2014 was not the movement that as it is known today. So 2014, there were a handful, maybe two handfuls of people who lived in tiny houses on wheels. You kind of knew everybody that lived in a tiny house on wheel. You could recognize their house. Um, Knew them when I say knew them from seeing their homes on the internet or like on Facebook. But it was such a small community, you could tell you knew everybody's tiny house. And so 2013, 2014 when I was researching, and 2014 when I started designing my house and putting together the plans for the bill, because along with my sister, I designed my house. And so I was putting together the plans and planning to hire a contractor. Hi, Kitty. Thank you, Kim. And so I started interviewing contractors. Hello, Elle. Um, and met with this, hi, Jessica. Met with this older gentleman who I was interviewing. He had actually been referred to me by a family friend to that he was a builder. So I was looking at general contractors to build the house there at that time. 2013, 2014, the only real tiny house builder at that time was Tumbleweed. And their style of houses was absolutely not my style of house. And so I was not planning to use Tumbleweed. So I was interviewing general contractors. But I had done a lot of research on building tiny houses and had some instructional videos that I knew I could share with. Are you all not seeing the video? Key is saying the video has not loaded for me yet. Am I talking to myself? Um, Hi, Carla. Hi, Kitty. Somebody let me know if I'm talking to myself. I think I'm live. I see it looks like 50 folks are out there, but is it Key, maybe you should refresh, but before okay, so Carla's saying okay, Sharon says we can see. Okay, so Key, reload. Thank you very much for y'all letting me know. So there was just the tumbleweed folks who were building tiny houses. There weren't the professional builders like there are now. So I was hiring general contractors and interviewing them. But I did, like I said, I did have instructional videos from some folks who had built a tiny house, and they had videoed the entire process from start to finish. It took them like 2 years to build their tiny house. And he had done it's the Morrisons, and Andrew had recorded the process from start to finish of building their house, and it was instruction all along the way of every bit of how to build a tiny house. It was like 4 videos of the process from start to finish. Very, very informational. I had watched that, all 4 of those, and I'd also purchased a book by Dan Lachey, which I called my Tiny House Bible. It was his book, Tiny House Building, something. I'll put a link to his book in the um, in the chat. The style of tiny house that he was referring to building wasn't the style of my house either. Just like somebody agreed that Tumblewood is not my style, But the build process, as he talked through start to finish, the build process would have been the same, was going to be the same for no matter what type of house you were building. Very quick little book, but very informational to tell you like terminology, building terminology, all of the things like to that for me it was important to understand the terminology. So as I was talking to a general contractor, I could kind of speak their language. So those were the two references that I had. Very, and so both of them were really good, and I had a clear understanding of my house because I had been like instrumental in designing it. I'd started out my build on scratch paper, on graph paper, and I've talked about that using graph paper because with the blocks it could be the grid, a box to a foot. You can build to scale using graph paper, and so that's what I had done. So in the process of interviewing and talking to general contractors, I met with this older gentleman who flat out told me it wasn't possible to build what I was planning to do. It wasn't possible to do. To build a house on a trailer was absolutely not possible. I hadn't had an opportunity to visit any of these houses in person because, like I said, it was a very small community at that time, a handful of people. Most of the people lived across the country. Um, so I hadn't seen it in person yet, but I absolutely knew it could be done. I knew of at least to seven people who lived in a tiny house, and I kept talking to him for a minute, and it just could not be done. We were having this conversation at the trailer. So at this point, I'd already purchased the trailer that my house is built on, a 28-foot custom tiny house trailer. And so he told me flat out that what I wanted to do could not be done. And I kept going to interview other contractors and then had found a general contractor that built my house. Since that time, I hope that he has seen. I've hoped maybe it's not. I don't know if it's petty, but I have hoped that he's seen me on HGTV the three times that I've been on HGTV. I have hoped that he's seen me in Essence magazine. I have hoped every time he sees a tiny house, here's a story, here's the word tiny house, that he's thought of me and how he told me it absolutely could not be done. Fast forward to living in the Key, I'm sorry you're having trouble. So fast forward, I've been living in the tiny house for 10 years, and you all know I built the addition on the house. And so I started trying to find someone to help me with the work that needed to be done to move the house. And I'm going to tie this all together. And so I understood the concept of what needed to be done because the way the addition was built on the tiny house, we didn't cut into the tiny house. We didn't um, jeopardize the structure of the tiny house. The addition was just built as an attachment to the tiny house. And so I understood that it needed to be detached. At all of the points that it connected to the tiny house, they needed to be detached. So at the roof line, at the floor line, and the two walls where it attached, because inside that addition, you still could see the exterior of the tiny house. So that was a wall, the one of the walls, and then everything else was just attached at the two walls, the roof line and the floor line. So detaching that, bracing that structure so it could stand up on its own was what would be required to move it at a very basic level. And so as I was was interviewing contractors to help with the work that needed to be done. I reached out to this one contractor that I found his information, and I'm gonna so I sent him all of the pictures of what I expected had to be done, and what I told him what I was trying to do. And this is we were talking via text, so I want to read to you. This was Thursday, October the 31st. He responded. He said, "Hi, Jewel. From what I'm seeing, there is just no way to complete this. There will be significant damage caused by any attempt to move it, and I value my reputation as a builder. I'm sorry, I must decline this job. If you should have any questions about what to expect or what led to my decision, please feel free to call for guidance." He says there is just no way to complete this. There will be significant damage caused by any attempt to move it. And so, as I have shared the video of the house being moved, this was again a reminder, as he said, it just absolutely could not be done. I also wanted to reach out to him to send him some pictures of what could not be done, or what he said could not be done, that was done, and there is not significant damage, because he said there will be significant damage caused by any attempt to move it. Petty me wants to reach out to him and say it can be done. But the main point and the most important thing is the fact that both of these people that I encountered as I was trying to find someone to do this work, very emphatically, in no uncertain terms, told me what I was trying to do could not be done. Not, I don't think it can be done. Maybe this isn't the job for me. They told me it could absolutely not be done. And that was coming from a place of their own limited beliefs. And I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about what if I had stopped at that point, because these two people told me it could absolutely not be done. And this, even outside of me building the tiny house, this is also part of where I tie it back to when we talk about dreams and things that you want to do. Both of those contractors had limited beliefs of what could and could not be done. And they spoke in terms of certainty and as experts in their field, and with some final, like, a stop, what is it, something in the sand, like a hard stop. They were speaking based on what they know and what they have experienced. Part of it possibly came from fear. The gentleman who said there will be significant damage caused by any attempt to move it. Or a lack of certainty. I think this is what will happen, but instead of I'm I'm going to offer that it's possible, I'm going to speak in certain terms of this cannot be done. There will be significant damage. And those limiting beliefs, had I chosen to listen to them, I would have not have built my tiny house. I would not have moved the addition the other week. And while I am not one, so I talk to you all the time about due diligence. I am not one to, I have this the way I move about doing things. So if I'll use travel for an example. If I'm trying to put together a trip, or I'm planning to do something, if if roadblocks keep coming up, then I don't keep pushing things. Like if one thing after another keeps happening that is kind of derailing the plan, I won't keep pushing it. Like I try to listen and pay attention. If roadblocks are happening one thing after another for something that I'm trying to do, I feel like this is not the time for it, or this is not the direction I need to go in, because the universe is giving me some signs that this just isn't going to work out. I don't keep trying to push things that don't appear to be working out. I try to listen. But there's also a difference in true due diligence and pushing against things that just aren't lining up. And as I always talk about due diligence, in these situations where both of those contractors said it can't be done, I sought I guess I'll say, counsel of other general contractors. And as I'm trying to, so for example, with this plumbing work, as I'm trying to get some quotes on and understanding the work to be done, I've spoken and had at least 4 contractors come out. I usually do like 3 to 4. I want to get 3 to 4 opinions. I want to get 3 to 4 numbers of what quotes, and kind of see what the average number is. I don't necessarily want to go with the most expensive. I don't necessarily want to go with the cheapest. I want to see, what are the numbers looking like, because that gives me an idea of what this should actually cost if I'm getting, 3 to 4 quotes. And then I move accordingly. I don't want to just pick and go with the cheapest because that person is the cheapest. I try to do some due diligence and the law of averages. And so that is the same thing I'm offering in the it can't be done. Don't stop at the first, it can't be done. Don't stop at the second, it can't be done. In the information gathering process, 3 to 4 folks, and getting their feedback, people that you trust, people that in the digital world, you can find experts, even if it's somebody that you may not have doing the work, but they're the expert in the field or highly ranked in the field, getting their opinion of what can and can't be done, the dream, the build, whatever it is that needs to be done, and getting their opinion versus stopping at the first no. Because, and that's not pushing something that shouldn't be done. That is due diligence. That is not allowing someone's limited beliefs or lack of creativity or the opportunity to be able to think out. They might not possess the ability to think outside of the box. For example, the first contractor who said it was absolutely not possible to build a tiny house on a trailer foundation. His lack of creativity may have been what was limiting him to say it absolutely can't be done. The lack of the ability to think outside of the box. The unwillingness to sit and think about something that I've never done this before, but let me think through this. What's the possibilities? Let's brainstorm. Let me do some research instead of just coming with it can't be done, and that's the absolute. The due diligence, like, so if I had gone from him and 4 other people said it can't be done, or of the total of the 4 to 5 people I interviewed and 3 of them said it can't be done, then I'm gonna lean more towards it can't be done. In the tiny house build, possibly, maybe I wouldn't have done that, because I know for certain that these people have done exactly what I'm trying to do. So maybe that would not be the exact scenario where if 3 or 4 people said it can't be done, I would say it can't be done, because I know for sure I have examples of it being done. But in some other scenario of something that I'm trying to do, or where I'm consulting people who are more of the experts in this field, and 3 or 4 of the 5 say it can't be done, I'm going to lean toward it can't be done, or it shouldn't be done, or there's some issue that they know something about. If they're the experts in this field and 3 of the 4 of the 5 people are saying it can't be done, that kind of is going to lead toward it shouldn't be done, it can't be done. But the first no, because and so in building the tiny house, I didn't have a lot of confidence in it, and my lack of confidence in his absolute authority could have been the thing that knocked me out of even attempting to build a tiny house, because I wasn't 100% sure, and this man who has built houses for a living for many, many years said it can't be done. That might have been the thing that knocked me out of the box of building a tiny house. So it's not stopping at the first no just because you're not 100% confident in the process or what has to be done. It is the taking it a few steps further, to do some more research, to consult with some more people, to ask some additional questions. I'm not suggesting to push against a process. I always say trust the process. So I'm not suggesting um, I'm not suggesting not trusting the process. I'm not suggesting pushing against something that isn't working out. But I am suggesting to not stop at the first no. I am suggesting that you continue to do the due diligence of whatever it is, just to ensure that that absolute no that someone else is giving you isn't based in their own limited beliefs, and then makes you miss out on an opportunity to do something that might not be so run of the mill, might not be so common. Um, the second guy who told me, there'd be significant damage and it couldn't be done. Had I listened to him, I would still be in the other location where I knew I wanted to leave. And so it's the thinking, all of the things that I would have missed out of. I would have missed out on this community. I would have missed out on 10 years of living in a tiny house, and the freedom and the joy that this has brought me, the opportunity to be on HGTV 3 times. Like, there are so many things that this home the tiny house has brought into my life, so many opportunities, so many doors that it has opened, that if I had just let that first no tell me it wouldn't work, I would have missed out on all of that. It is and that, again, I feel like a lot of what I talk about is not just relative to tiny homes, even though I'm talking about a tiny house. It is also relative to thinking outside of the box and being a trailblazer in doing something that is against the norm, that folks aren't used to, and having the confidence to do that thing, having the wherewithal to not allow naysayers, and naysayers in this case might be a stretch. I don't necessarily like naysayers. I sometimes think of like haters. I'm not saying they were haters, but what I am saying is they didn't have the ability to think objectively. And I saw somebody in the comments say, um, instead of just saying he wasn't comfortable doing it, that is the point. Instead of just saying, I'm not familiar with this, I haven't done anything like this, and possibly say, but I'd be willing to research it and get back to you. I'd be willing to try something new, or this isn't within, as people say, my wheelhouse, but there's probably some other builders. Maybe consult with some young folks that are doing innovative things. Like, instead of just saying I'm not comfortable with this, or I'm not sure I'm the person for this job, instead of just saying something like that, when you say something like it can't be done, that is the shutting down of and negatively impacting somebody else's future, because your mind says in this box it can't be done. And there are so there the opportunity to, I always talk about, not sharing your dreams with everybody. That kind of relates to that as well, because if my thinking is black and white, things can only be done this certain way, I'm not veering right or left, and you come share your dream, and your dream is to the right or to the left, and I'm always on this straight and narrow, you share your dream with me, and that sounds crazy, that sounds stupid. I don't even see how that's going to work, because I'm straight ahead. I'm not out on the right or the left, and your dream is on the right or the left. But it's not my dream, it's your dream. It's your project. Your project is on the right or the left. My projects are straight ahead. Your projects, your dreams are over on the right or left. I'm not the person that you should share that with, because I'm going to automatically say no, that's stupid, or that can't be done, or that sounds crazy. And depending on the person that you meet, if they're not in that space where they can say, that's not something I would do, but I can so see you doing that, or that sounds amazing for you, that's not for me, but that sounds amazing for you, I hope that you're able to figure that out, or I don't know how to do it, or but I can find you a resource, just like I was saying about the builder. He could have offered me some resources, or just stood down, this ain't my thing, but I wish you luck. Like Cynthia, we have to move beyond our comfort zone. We have to move beyond our comfort zone, and we also have to understand that we own our destiny. Kind of sounds far-fetched, but I guess destiny is part of it. We own our journey, and it is up to us to do the things, to research, to explore, to do the due diligence, to dot the I's, cross the T's for the things that we want to do. Um, Moving on from, if I speak to this last scenario where this contractor said there was going to be significant damage and it absolutely could not be done. I was able to consult with my friend Chris, who works with modular homes. Chris came, I think Chris lives about an hour and a half from me. Chris came down, walked through, looked at the house. Yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that, blah, blah, blah. All of these things, because his area of work allowed him to recognize this can be done. Chris worked with me to speak to different contractors to make sure, as I was talking to them, they understood how it should be done, what needed to be done. And one that helped me with my confidence to be able to have this conversation. But it also, because I've also shared, a lot of the times the contractor world is very male dominant. So a lot of times as a woman, you're bumping up against, that issue where what is it, man speak, where they're feel, the condescending, there's often some condescending, there's a lot of condescending talk in contracting work oftentimes. So that's another factor. But I then took it from there and did some additional research, found some professionals. Houses are moved all day, every day. Um, Traditional houses are moved all day, every day. So I was able to find some professionals who absolutely agreed it was possible and could talk to how it should be done. But it was up to me to own the responsibility for making this thing happen. It was up to me to do the additional research to determine whether or not it could actually happen. It was up to me to find the right people to make it happen. It was up to me to ensure they were the right people to make it happen. They weren't just people talking, but because this was important, because this was a project of high importance, also going to, it wasn't going to be cheap, make sure I had the right people lined up to do the work. And I go back to, and I encourage all of you all to not stop at the first, it can't be done. Again, not pushing up against something that says it shouldn't be done or this isn't the right move, this isn't the right time. I'm not saying push up against those things that are telling you stand down. This isn't the right time, or this isn't the right move, this isn't the right direction. Um, and we know what that feels like. The intuition when you are pushing against something that just shouldn't be happening or isn't right. Like you hear the stories about people who decided at the last minute not to take a trip, or decided at the last minute to go this way when stuff wasn't working out, and learned later on something like it saved their, it could have saved their life because something happened um, on their route, or, you've heard those stories. So again, I'm not saying push against the intuition of 10 people have said it can't be done, and you're just going to keep pushing it till you find person number 11 who says, yeah, it can be done. And then it all goes to hell because it was one person who said yes after 10 people said absolutely not. I'm not suggesting that at all. I am obviously suggesting that we all use our common sense, but I'm also suggesting that there are often times where the thing that we're doing is not the norm. The dream that we have is not the usual dream, or a common dream, I guess is what would be a good word. And the people that are surrounding you aren't familiar with outside of their straight ahead. They're not familiar with the right or the left. They're not familiar with um, circles. They're in their square. And they are only familiar with what they know and what they've experienced, and they can't think or see outside of that. What I'm suggesting is, as the owner of your dream, as the owner of your experiences, you owe yourself to not stop at that first no. You owe it to yourself to consider doing the due diligence to see what the opportunity is versus allowing somebody to to tell you it can't be done and you accept that it can't be done. And I am living proof. My tiny house is, I guess, living proof. My tiny house is proof, not living. My tiny house is proof. My entourage, moving my entourage, is proof that sometimes the things that people say in absolute that can't be done absolutely can be done. It can't be done by that person, but it can be done by some professionals. It can be done by somebody else. And that can make all of the difference. Again, I think of, as I was thinking, as I always think about that older man, I think of, now 10 years of the joy that my home has brought me. especially as I have shared with this, the health challenge I've experienced, and the fact that my tiny house has been such a lifesaver for me. Um, as I'm working on getting my house back together so that I can move in, and I when I am in that area, and I just feel so um, blessed and grateful to be in this new space and to um, be able to take my home to this new space. So it's not, it is, learning a new area, but my home is the same. It is again, the thing that keeps me grounded, but I get to enjoy my home in this new space. But if I had not moved past that first, it can't be done, I wouldn't be able to experience any of this. And so I want to encourage you all to move past the first, it can't be done in everything that you're doing. What that looks like is, shameless plug. I offer all the consultations and all of the things for tiny houses. I have the lived experience. So if there's something along that journey that you're feeling like it can't be done, or people are saying it can't be done, that is that's one of the things I'm pretty good at. It can be done, and I can help you figure that out. If your dream, your journey isn't, if it isn't tiny house related, there's always somebody out there that can help you navigate the journey. Even if it's a support group, I always encourage, like as I talk about following dreams, your friend group is good to have people in your friend group that are supportive, but also getting into groups of folks who have done something similar to what you're doing that can share information, or just be a support to keep you encouraged as you try to figure out what it is that you're trying to do. If you're doing something, moving in a new space that's not a familiar space, and people don't really know much about that space, just getting in some support groups of people who can serve as encouragement, who can serve as resources that may not, like I said, may not just be your circle of friends, but people who are moving in that direction, who can keep you encouraged and keep you going and inspired, versus the it can't be done, or what you're doing sounds crazy, or the negative stuff that as it you continue to hear it weighs down on you, and as you get frustrated, and things may not be moving as fast as you had hoped. So if I put it into the situation of moving my house, the work of reattaching my house hasn't been completed yet. I could be down in the dumps and say, maybe that man was right. Significant damage, like that could wear on my mind to think about this guy, and this isn't moving as fast as I wanted it to do, or wanted it to go. Like those are the things that those are the stories that you can sometimes end up telling yourself if you're not in a place where you're being supported, or if you're not in a place where you have access to people who are encouraging you on this journey, or who can provide some information to help you move your journey along as you get stagnant, if it's not moving as quickly as you'd hoped. Or And again, I always talk about the fact that following dreams or doing things, it doesn't always go from one, two, three, four, five. So if I speak to the electrical work that the the work that I've been working on, for the house, in addition to getting set up with the electricity at this no location, as my builder, as the contractor was doing some stuff, he recognized that there was a problem with the wiring in my bathroom. So we made some steps forward, but we also had to make some steps backward for him to correct some wiring in the bathroom. That's the way projects go. That's the way things go. So you start progressing, and then you take a couple of steps backward. if you're not in that right frame of mind, or you don't have the support there to help you in this process, as you're taking those backward steps, those can be the things that knock you out of a feeling like it's doable. Oh my God, something else. This is just another sign that I shouldn't be going in this direction. No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not necessarily another sign. It is some shit happened, and the wiring is bad, and the wiring has to be fixed. But we still gonna get the power hooked up, and we're still gonna be moving in this direction. Sometimes stuff happens. It's not necessarily a sign to say this shouldn't be done, but if you're in that place, you don't have the support systems, maybe sometimes your energy can be negative. That's the story that you can end up telling yourself, that this is a sign. They were right. I shouldn't be doing this. No, it's a sign that my house is 10 years old. Sometimes maybe the wiring was wrong from the beginning, or maybe it's something that's happened over the course of the 10 years. But it's not a sign to say significant damage is going to happen, or I'm not progressing, or it's just something that happened. And so we also have to be careful of the stories that we're telling ourselves, um, so that we're not talking ourselves into it can't be done or it shouldn't be done. Um, and knowing that stuff can be done, absolutely can be done. Don't stop at the first, it can't be done. Um, Catherine is saying, I made peace in my mind about that sort of thing years ago. If it's overly hectic, it's not meant to be at that time. Absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about. If the trip isn't just aligning like that, you keep hitting roadblocks, sit that one out or reschedule it for another time. I'm not saying just push against a force that's telling you, no, don't go in that direction. But I am saying do your due diligence and don't stop at the first, it can't be done. Because that's not always the correct answer. And Mara is saying, follow your dreams, no one else's, because some people don't dream. Absolutely. Again, those people who can't think right or left, they just straight ahead. Or maybe they're right or left and they can't see straight ahead. Maria is saying, this story supersedes tiny homes, big faith beyond limiting beliefs. Absolutely. That's what a lot of times as I talk about things tiny home related, because my tiny home was my big dream. And so I feel like it's not always just about tiny houses. It is about the dream, and the dream can be insert whatever your dream is. As I'm telling the tiny house story, it could be whatever your dream is. Um, Absolutely. I agree with that. Miss French Twist is saying about how much to start to get started. There's so many factors in that question. Are you building on foundation? Are you building on wheels? Where are you building? What's your timeline? The size of the house. I do have a video where I talk about the cost for a tiny house. I can drop the link, the things to consider to get started. I'll drop the link in this video. It is on my page. Let me make a note of that. But I did talk about the things to consider to help you figure out how much money you're going to need to get started. Maybe that's something I can revisit, but I have a video out there. I'll drop the link to that, Miss French Twist, when this goes live, so you can have access to that video. There are just so many factors to consider, so there's not one number. It also is going to depend on like who's building. Is it DIY? Are you working with a builder? Is it a hybrid? You're going to do some DIY and part work with a builder. Like there's so many factors of things that you'll need to consider. Yes, me too, Rosalind. Absolutely. Ella's saying I call them dream killers. That's why we are not to share our dreams with everyone. If you know your purpose, just keep moving, never look back. Absolutely. Um, and again, sometimes, in building, actually building, there are some things, if this isn't your area of expertise, you'll have to, consult with other people. So you do have to kind of share, but it also means that you use I lost my word. You use the something to know that some stuff you might take with a grain of salt. Sometimes it might not be the first contractor you talk to might not be the one that's meant for you to work with. So knowing that you need to, almost like the law of averages. I say, 3 or 4 quotes, 4 to 5 quotes, 4 to 5 conversations, 3 to 4 conversations with somebody to get their feedback, expertise, and then going from there. Just not, the first person telling you it needs to be done this way or it can't be done, that you allow to shut you down. Cynthia saying, I've started implementing the mindset of minding my business, the CEO of my life, my dreams, my destinies, my business, and how absolutely. Hey Shay, happy Monday to you. I hope you are well. Hi Diamond. Hey Brown Girls Invest. Thank you, Diamond. I appreciate that a lot. All right, let me see what y'all are talking about. Brown Girls Invest too is saying surround yourself with like-minded and like-hearted people to help push you along. Absolutely, absolutely. Hey Yvonne, all of y'all over here. Hi Yvonne, happy to see you. Um, um, Deborah saying just went through something like that with my plumbing. My house is 109 years old. Stuff is gonna happen. Absolutely. You just cannot, stuff is going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. You just cannot always let it be the thing that throws you off, the thing that says, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. That's why all of these things are happening. Sometimes that's true, but it's not all the time. Stuff is just going to happen, and so you have to be able to use your discernment to understand when that is the case. Yeah, these things keep happening because you need to have several seats. This ain't what you should be doing. But yeah, these things can be happening because, like Deborah is saying, my house is 109 years old. I need to expect that some of these things are going to happen. Absolutely. Um, Miss French Twist. Okay, so again, my shameless plug. I'm happy. Consulting is what I do, so I'm happy to help you figure it out. But I do have a video to help you with the numbers. Did you saying that's what you call a dream killer? Absolutely. Hi Wayne, happy to see you here. Mara saying, I let myself get discouraged from the same people that years later now like tiny homes. My lesson, do you? See, and that's the thing. So I always, I always tell a story of when I was 2012, 2013, researching, starting the process of designing 2013, 2014, and everybody I could talk to, I was talking about my tiny house. And tiny houses weren't a thing then. And the builder that told me it can't be done, and then people kind of looking at me with a side eye. Are you having financial hardship? Do you need somewhere to stay? Hey, Crystal. Had I listened to those folks, I would have had several seats. But then again, now 10 years later, just like what you're saying, Mara, these are the same people who want to talk to me about tiny houses and want to pick my brain and want to do all the things, and they're interested in tiny houses, they want to build tiny houses, they want to do this, they want to do that. But 10 years ago they thought I was batshit crazy. And those are the same people that what you're saying it will feed into your energy and discourage you on a dream, and then years later they don't forgot that they poo-pooed on your dream and you let them, you took a seat, you didn't do anything about it, and now they all gung-ho and trying to act like it's a new phenomenon that you weren't talking about 10 years ago. So again, the importance of being careful who you share your dreams with, and doing your own due diligence on said dream to ensure that it's something that can be done for you, not because the other folks are saying it can't be done or it shouldn't be done or it's dumb or all of those things. So um, lesson learned. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, that's okay, Crystal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. Um, hey Denise. Hey Stephanie Denise. That's okay. And I'll be catching up with you. Yvonne says trailblazing ain't easy, but somebody got to do it. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Silver Shirley. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's all I got for y'all. Just don't stop at the it can't be done. Don't let those in. I feel like we have such a I was trying not to call them haters, Gigi. I feel like in the days of social media, we have access to people who are doing things that are out of the norm. And I hope that you are connected with people that or connected with pages and groups and things of people who are living their lives differently, living their lives intentionally, living their lives for them, to keep you encouraged, even if it's not something that you would ever do, but just the things that people are doing or pursuing or um, I hope that you have those people, even if it's not your circle. You could have a whole fuddy-duddy circle of folks who ain't doing nothing, ain't trying to do nothing, ain't never gonna do nothing. You can have a whole fuddy-duddy circle. But when you get on Instagram, I think you I think for me it's more of Instagram. But you can get on there and see people doing all kinds of stuff that you'd never imagined doing, and you can see it's bringing them so much joy. That is what I'm hoping we're immersing ourselves in and connecting ourselves with and placing ourselves in those circles, even if it's not anything you would ever dream of doing. It's nothing you have interest in. Just that energy and that joy that is so contagious that will help you think outside of the box, to help you live life in a space of in an expansive space of just outside the mundane, because life is meant, like as I was talking about, people who just are going straight ahead. Life is meant to be lived on the right and on the left, and sometimes, as people say, drawn outside the lines. That's what life is meant to be. That's how life is meant to be lived versus get up, go to work, come home, go to bed, don't find the joy, talk to your same circle, go to bed, go to work. It is the joy in doing things differently, or exploring, and I'm not necessarily saying you got to get out and travel the world if that's not your thing, or if that's not in your financial whatever right now, or you might not have any desire to do it. but just the joy of seeing other people do things to help you expand your own mind and to help you expand your experience and to help you expand your level of thinking and to help you expand your view of the world. um you have there's so much access, YouTube, so much access to things you've never considered, that you can go down some rabbit holes. I'm not encouraging you to spend your life away by being on Instagram and YouTube, but I am encouraging you to broaden your perspective and to see things differently, in and maybe even finding some joy in observing other people's joy, if that's not where you are right now, because again, that's contagious, and it helps you find your own joy. It helps you grow your thinking and the possibilities and things that may have been dreams that you may have had years ago, or plans that you may have had years ago that are dormant, or you kind of put on the shelf because other folks said it shouldn't be done, it can't be done, it's dumb. But that can re-energize you and awaken that thought process and help you to find some new joy or find some more joy. Um, so yeah, that's what I want for all of us. Mara saying 10 years ago, folks were falling asleep while I was showing them my graphic design. Support is awesome. You got to support yourself. I was just laughing at what you were saying. Poo poo for real. Yeah, folks will poo poo on your dreams. Um, Hello, Sophia from Tobago. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gigi's Score Council. I'm not familiar with Score Council. He shot down what I was doing, wanted to do, so I left. Okay, Gigi, we're gonna need you to go somewhere else to share your what you want to do. Find somebody who can support it or tweak it if it needs to be tweaked, so you can, as my grandfather used to say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So maybe there were some pointers that negative person could offer that you might want to consider, but don't let them kill your dream, because somebody else shot it down. Shop it some more. 3, 4, 4, 5. Remember I said get some other opinions. Shirley saying your tiny home was the first home I saw. I want one. That's your dream. You got to work on it. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, good people. Crystals, never give up on your dreams. So it's Monday. Let me see what else I have planned. So I think by end of week, I know by end of week, I'll be in my house. I'll be in the tiny house part of my house because I will have the power, the water, the infrastructure up and running. Hello, Sonia. Um, Thank you, Mara. So I'm looking forward to that. Sister's a little tired. Um, Gigi is saying, I admire you and all that you do. I enjoyed the tiny house event you had in Charlotte. The panel, once again, was the bomb. Thank you. I am workshops and stuff like that are on my to-do list for 2025. So I'm looking forward to rolling out some more. But thank you. I was inspired by the workshops. They were really good. Thank you. Absolutely. Hi, Royal. Um, Very welcome, Cynthia. Thank you. I appreciate that. Uh, oh, so I'll be in the house by end of week. Hopefully by next Sunday, I'll be um, chatting and we can I'll be able to go live from the house, and we'll have moved in and be moving forward. I really do like the space. It is a beautiful space, and I'm excited about being in this new space. Thank you, Crystal. What else? Y'all have some questions? Good night, Kim. Have a good night. Tiny Living does allow me to do so many other things. Absolutely. Happy to inspire. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I got. Thank y'all for showing up. Hey, Yvonne, I appreciate you being here in the chat. Absolutely. I got to get my house together so I can get to traveling. Again, I miss being traveling. I got to get back to San Miguel because I don't know what City Market is doing over there without me. And I need to check on City Market to see what they got on in the aisles of the grocery store. So I got to get over there. Um, I plan to do my residency as long as they don't change the rules come 2025. So I'm going to work on that. And um, yeah, we holding on to our joy. And that's I'm going to keep talking about that, making sure that we are doing the things that are bringing us joy because we're going to need it. We need it. We need it every day. Yes, Catherine, there is some video of my house being moved that I will. I got some drone stuff, but it got dark, so it's not a lot of drone stuff. But I do have some video, so I'll be sharing. I got to put that together and share that. Yeah, I got to get some. Thank you, Dee. I don't even know what City Market. I don't even know how City Market is still in business without me over there walking down the aisles talking to everybody in there that I don't really talk to people and touching all the stuff and eating gelato. So I need to come check on City Market and make sure they got everything going together. So that's what I got to do. Thank you, Mara. I'll be sharing. Crystal said, City Market got me in a chokehold. That's okay. When I get all of y'all over there and we do a we do a field trip to City Market. Uh-oh, Yvonne said City Market has the best hot chocolate. What? How did I not know that? I didn't even get any hot chocolate. I got everything else but hot chocolate. That's another reason that I have to go to City Market because I need all the reasons to go. Um, Good night, Diamond. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, Sophia is speaking in Spanish. She don't know I don't know my Spanish right now. Exactly. I have to go so I can get back to City Market and go grocery shopping. Thank y'all, folks. Thank y'all, folks. Will this chat be available later to watch? It will. The chat is the chat goes along with the video. So there's the YouTube chat and then there's the chat that you can see when the video replays. So yes, you can see that. Yes, hit the thumbs up. MBE review coach said, thank you for responding to my email. I'll update you on the sale. Oh, yes, very welcome. Yes, 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 yes. All right. I see some real estate conversations, some money conversations happening in the chat. I'm glad you all chat with each other and connect and do all the things. I appreciate y'all and this community for doing that. I appreciate that. Have a good week, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh, Sophia said also you're Spanish, my sister. Oh, thank I gotta work on that. Thank you so much. Um, oh, thank you. Uh, Happy Monday. Have a good week. We'll talk again soon. Hi, Rosebud. Thank y'all. Good night, everybody. I hope everybody is well, has a good week, and we'll be talking soon. Thank y'all for showing up for me on a Monday. I appreciate y'all. All right. Take care. Good night.